for being here. I'm Halima from Blackboard English, and today is a special day. We're going to be focusing on Ramadan vocabulary and facts. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand a few facts about Ramadan, what things you should and shouldn't do. I'm going to answer a few questions that you've asked me during the week, and also learn how to speak about Ramadan. So I hope that you'll enjoy this lesson. So in the comments, I want you to let me know if you are you are observing Ramadan. That's one of the things that I'm actually going to teach you, the difference between celebrating and observing Ramadan. So just let me know in the comments if you are observing Ramadan. So I see Nawafal. Thank you for joining me today. Let me put all the comments ready. Oops, it is. Right, let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is give you a bit of a listening practice, and I want you to just listen and understand a few facts about Ramadan. All right? Let's see now. Okay, so I see your comments now. Hi, Surya. Hi, Red Brandy Cherries. Hi, Sarah. Ramadan Kareem. Have you guys been fasting? So, I'm going to just read a few facts about Ramadan now, and then we're going to get into the juicy part, which is focusing on the vocabulary of Ramadan, like things, how you can talk about Ramadan. So, let's get started. So, we believe that the gates of heaven is open and the gates of hell are closed during Ramadan. So we believe both gates, one is open and one is closed. We also believe that it was during this month that the Holy Quran, so the holy book for Muslims, was brought down. To the Prophet Muhammad. So let's not forget that. So it was brought down to the Prophet of Muhammad. Muslims fast the entire month of Ramadan. We fast every day from dawn to dusk. And what I want to point out is that we don't eat or drink during the entire month, not even water. All right? We focus on extra prayers, increase the amount of charity that we give, and generosity. We intensely study the Quran, so there's a lot of Quran reading and also long prayers. So somebody said, are you fasting? Yes, I am. I am fasting. I've been fasting for the last couple of days since Monday. Are you guys fasting? So let's go to the next point. At the end of the month, this is something that's super interesting. At the end of the month, some of you already know this, we have a celebration called Eid. And this is where we have a celebration for 3 days, and we celebrate the end of Ramadan and that, the difficult time that we went through. And so and what we've given and how much we've done. And so we kind of, it's like a celebration of the end of Ramadan. Okay, so we spend time with our families and friends during this month, and and at the end we also spend time. It's sort of like Christmas at the end. Eid is like similar to Christmas, where we all gather, we have a big feast, food, there's a lot of food involved. excuse me. And we give gifts to little children. So little kids that are, what's it called? In our families, they usually get gifts and money. And so it's similar. So there's a lot of happiness and joy that it goes around during this time at the end of the Ramadan. So we celebrate Eid, but we celebrate Eid, but we observe Ramadan. So there's two different ways of saying that. So we celebrate Eid and observe Ramadan. So are you observing Ramadan this year? Ramadan. So we say Ramadan, and it's not like a D sound. So people say Ramadan, and it's actually Ramadan with a the, right? Oh, I'm glad that so you said that your fasting has been wonderful. I'm really glad that you're enjoying your fasting. Have you been going to the long prayers at the end of the night? Red brandy cherries. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, so let's start with greetings. Should we start with greetings? Excuse me. So, thank you everyone. Thank you for your wishes. So, I want to talk about the wishes in Ramadan. So, there are certain wishes that we say to people. So, during Ramadan, you can say to somebody, Happy Ramadan, am I saying it correctly? Happy Ramadan, and or Ramadan Mubarak. So you can say Happy Ramadan or Happy Eid. It's acceptable to say this, but if you want to like show off a little bit and tell the person that that's next to you that you've done your homework, you say either Ramadan Mubarak or Eid Mubarak. So Eid has like a different sorry guys, I don't know why I'm getting this cough while I'm talking. Excuse me. So, like I said, you can say Happy Ramadan or Happy Eid, but a different way to say it is you can say Ramadan Kareem or Ramadan Mubarak if you want to show off with your friends. So Ramadan Kareem or Ramadan Mubarak. And you can also say Eid Mubarak or Eid Kareem, which means Kareem is generous. So it means generous. So Kareem is generous. So you're saying basically generous Ramadan. And Mubarak it just means blessings. So Ramadan, blessing Ramadan, okay? So you're preparing. Sarah said that she's preparing for tour while she's watching. Surya says, what is the meaning of inshallah? Inshallah is like God willing. So that's what inshallah means. So let's move on to the next part of the lesson, which is the vocabulary part. Hopefully it's working. Oh, good. All right, there you go. Can everybody see this? Is this clear? So before, okay, brilliant. Thanks for your answer, Najat. So I'm just going to put on the screen. Oopsie daisy. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. So before we go through those sentences, I want to just go through these words that you guys might like to know what it means. So sunrise and sunset. So sunrise is when the sun begins to, come up. So it's coming up. It usually happens, right now it's happening around 3:40. That's when it begins to get lighter outside, 3:40. And that's sunrise. Sunset is, around, in London, it's around 8:35. So sunrise is also dawn, and sunset it's another way to say dusk. So when I say from dawn till dusk, or you can just change that to make it easier. So from dawn to dusk, this is easier to remember. From dawn, I can't eat or drink from dawn till dusk. So if someone asks you, when can you eat? And you want to talk about time, and this is something we do during Ramadan, is we talk about time. We say from dawn till dusk. I can't eat or drink from dawn till dusk, or to dusk. So these sunrise and sunset is just another way to say dawn and dusk. And then I'm going to explain what iftar means. Oh, hi, we're done. So we're done is Obeida. Hi, we're like Obeida. So the next thing I want to teach you is iftar and suhoor. So iftar, when it's a good way to say, hey, when is iftar? So this is a question that you can ask. When is iftar? So this is a question you can ask your fellow Muslim friend. So when is iftar is basically saying when is breakfast. So iftar is another way to say breakfast. So you can say when do you break your fast, if you want to say it like in English. But if you want to use, again, you want to show off, you can say when is iftar? When is iftar? Or when do you break your fast? Now suhoor. Yes, and exactly. So Surya says that please invite me for iftar. So some people invite each other for iftar. So would you like to come to iftar at my house today? Would you like to go out and have iftar? And so people can invite each other in like to come to iftar. Usually we invite our neighbors to eat with us, or family members and friends. We invite them to come to our house to have iftar with us. And then we have suhoor. Suhoor is the word that describes the food that you have later on, in the morning, usually before sunrise. Okay, before sunrise we have suhoor. So it's kind of a small breakfast, and you drink lots of water. I drink lots and lots of water during suhoor. It's like to get you ready for the day, but we usually go back to sleep after eating suhoor. And there's certain foods that are special to suhoor. All right, so yeah, so can I, but the thing is, Sarah, if you say break fast with me, you have to say it to someone that's fasting. So if someone's not fasting, you can't say, can you do you come and have what's called break fast with me? So it's sort of for people that are fasting. So you could say, I think iftar is, you can use iftar to say, you can say break my fast, like come and join me for iftar. So the next thing is I'm observing Ramadan for 30 days. I'm observing Ramadan for 30 days. So this is the length of time that we are observing. We are fasting during the month of Ramadan. Yeah, so like I said, Surya is, I think you said you Surya says, I think you can also say let's break the fast. It's when you're saying let's break the fast, is we're talking about someone who's fasting with you. So if someone is not fasting with you, then it's, you don't really say that to them. So you can ask someone else that's fasting also to break the fast with you. All right. The next one is we will break fast at sunset. I already explained, um, you know, regarding the time. So sunset. Sunset is when it starts to become dark. So we will break fast at sunset. We're preparing food for iftar. For iftar. Somebody said that they're preparing food for iftar. This is funny. So Ragat says, I drink a lot of water and then I can't sleep because I need to go to the toilet every second. We all been through that. It's something that we all go through. So the next thing is there is usually a feast at the end of the month. So we usually invite like lots of family members and we have a big feast that we enjoy together. Like I said, there's Eid at the end of Ramadan. So for Eid, what do we say for Eid? We either say Happy Eid or Eid Mubarak. So that's the end. That's when we have a feast and we give gifts to children. Ramadan is exempt for those who are elderly, sick, pregnant, and children. I changed that. Okay. So this means like exempt means they don't need to fast, so they don't have to fast when somebody is sick or pregnant. And another thing is like for women during times of the month, we don't fast either. So if you see a Muslim woman fasting, don't freak out. Sometimes like we try to do it like discreetly, but sometimes you just can't, like there's people around you, so you can't like really do it discreetly. Anyway, what I want to point out is like for people that are non-Muslims that are watching, so if you don't believe in Islam, for somebody who's fasting, how do you like deal with somebody who's fasting? First of all, it's good to get yourself to understand about the month, understand it a little bit, know how to, the rules of Ramadan. So like they can't eat from dawn till dusk. So try not to offer them food during the day. It's actually not a big deal if you do offer us food, but it's just something that it's like we're like, tired and hungry sometimes, that it's something that maybe you should be mindful of. Yeah, so like I want you to make sure that like you're aware that if somebody is fasting, that you're respectful of that and you don't offer them crisps, because sometimes we can even forget that we're fasting, especially at the beginning of Ramadan. We just grab whatever you're giving us and we eat from hunger. Yeah, exactly. That's all I wanted to say about that. So let's go through some questions regarding like how to ask questions, just like some questions that you might ask if you are fasting. I mean, if you're not fasting or you are fasting. Let's put that on the screen. So, I'm fasting is a way to tell people that you're not eating. So it means you're fasting. And another question is to know when the person can eat again, is to ask them, when do you break your fast? When do you break your fast? And break your fast means, when are you going to eat? When are you going to start eating again? And the other thing is that when you do have parties and you're not celebrating, sorry, I'm like, I just got distracted from the one of the comments. I'll get back to you just a minute. But what I was gonna say, for people that are not fasting, and you want to invite someone that is fasting to some kind of like, say you want to invite them to a restaurant, and it's at the end of the month, like, or you want to celebrate something and you want to invite somebody that's fasting, try to do it at a time. Be aware of the time that people fast. So, for example, I fast until about 8:35, So if you're going to invite me to dinner, be aware of that. Be aware that you should invite someone not during lunchtime, not at 5 o'clock. Usually after like iftar is the right time to invite someone. Another question is, are you fasting? Are you fasting? So this is when you're asking someone if they're taking part in not eating or drinking. And remember, it's not just eating or drinking. It's a lot, like you can't smoke, you can't eat gum. A lot of people ask me if you can eat gum. You can't eat gum. Nope. You can't even take medicine. So that's why sick people are exempt. Exempt means they don't have to fast. If you're sick, you don't have to fast because you're not allowed to take medicine while you're fasting. Then the next one is, would you like to join us for iftar? Would you like to join us for iftar? So iftar is, again, I told you when you break your fast. So when you want to ask someone to join, you can ask them in this way. All right. So that's the vocabulary that I wanted to teach you guys. Let me look at the comments. I've never heard of this, Surya. This is the first time I'm hearing about a dish called halim. Surya, it starts before 1 month of Ramadan in India. What do you mean? What starts before 1 month before Ramadan? Okay, so now I'm just gonna go and answer some of the questions you guys asked me on Instagram. All right, I got some good questions. So somebody asked, YT1PVTRI asked, can I say I'm fasting or is it I am on fasting? So the correct way of saying, like I said already, it's I'm fasting. Okay, so the next question is there some things in London about Ramadan? Okay, yeah, so there's like lots of funny things in London about Ramadan. And it's like, first of all, you guys probably fast a lot less hours than we do. We fast 19 hours. So from 3:30, around 3:30, and we break at 8:30, around 18 hours, we break our fast. So we keep fasting for the duration of 19 hours. That's a long time, yeah? Let me know in the comments how long you fast for. Do you fast for 10 hours, 9 hours, or is it just like us in London where we fast for 19 hours? So another thing is like during Ramadan, we see like when I was growing up in London, um, like 10, 11, I actually never used to see anything about Ramadan in London. Nobody even knew about it. But now I see supermarkets displaying things like come for Ramadan. Um, Oh, thunder. Okay, so there's thunder outside and it's raining. I hate thunder so much. Okay, I'm trying to be okay with thunder. All right. Guys, do you guys know what thunder is? Do you guys know what thunder? So somebody said, Ragad says, in my place. So instead of saying in my place, it's better to say in my city. Iftar is at 6:40 p.m. and it changes until it reaches 7 p.m. Well done, Ragad. So instead of in my place, in my city. All right, brilliant. So sadaqah in English it means charity. So you have to give charity. So when you can't fast for a period of time, you have to pay back in a what's it called in a form of charity. So you can feed the poor, you can give money to charity, you can volunteer. I don't know if you can volunteer actually. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so like let me go back to the supermarket. Is sometimes supermarkets will say Ramadan Kareem half price on pork, and I'm like, No, we don't eat pork. Why are you telling us about pork during Ramadan? And so it's quite funny for us to see supermarkets having fasting during like Ramadan. They'll say Happy Ramadan, come and get discounts, and you see like pork being offered as one of the things um, during the month. So I find that hilarious. Okay, next. So that question was from Merweedem. Are these some? So is there something special in Ramadan during London? So more and more people are understanding what Ramadan is, and it's really nice when people understand what it is, so you don't feel like you're the only one who knows about Ramadan. Somebody asked, so Handy Kurili, how is Ramadan in London? Is it difficult? How long does fasting last? So so Ramadan in London, it can be quite difficult because it's long. It's very, very long. It's a long period of time, and especially for those people that leave the house and they have to travel during the summer, it's very difficult. Right now, it's like raining. Since Ramadan started, there has been no sun, so that really helps if you're fasting. But let me tell you a little bit of a secret. Ramadan is only like difficult for me. I don't know about you guys, who like whoever's fasting. Ramadan for me is only difficult on the first and the second day of Ramadan. So the first and second day is the hardest. After that, it just becomes so easy to do. So like the first few days is just the most difficult times. After that is really, really easy because our body just adjusts so well. So let's move on to the next part. So somebody asked, so Tuni asked, what are things that break our fast? So some of the things that break our fast are, say, for example, swearing or eating and drinking can break our fast. But if we do it accidentally, if we accidentally eat, then it's okay. It's not a big deal. Next question, what do you usually eat or drink at suhoor and iftar? So this is a question for you guys. What do you eat for iftar and for suhoor? Let me know in the comments. Do you eat healthy food? Do you eat fried food? In my house before, we used to eat a lot of food that was fried food. Fried samosas, fried is it pakoras? Pakoras. So it's like potatoes that's fried. So we eat lots of fried food that's really bad for you. But now this Ramadan, I've convinced my family to eat healthily at iftar times instead of eating badly. So what do you eat? I want to know what you eat. Let me know in the comments. So online teachers collections, it says, I think it's so bad for your health. How about you? Okay, it can be bad for your health if you eat bad food at the end of fasting. So if you don't drink enough, if you don't eat well, like you're not eating vegetables, you're eating only fried food, Ramadan can like actually, you gain weight and it's unhealthy. But it's up to you to actually, take hold of things and into like make choices that are good. Make the right choices, eat properly. In terms of fasting, it's actually really good for your body. So if you just Google that and find out, like, just you don't have to think about like Ramadan as like because people do it all over the world. It is not just about fasting. For like, I know Christians fast. I know, I'm not sure if Jews fast, but I know definitely Christians have Lent where they fast and they have certain things that they can't eat, or they just fast completely, but there's certain things allowed, and I'm not entirely sure 100%, but there's also diets that include fasting. What else do I eat? Well, yeah, so I also have soup. I have soup now and salad, soup and salad for iftar. and lots of watermelon and water. I love, love, love water during Ramadan. Like, oh, it's so good. And by the way, guys, food tastes so much better when you break your fast. Don't you agree, guys? Yes, dates, exactly. Obeda says like we start with um, dates and soup. So dates is definitely something that we always have on the table, and we break our fast with dates. Let's see, Ragat says, since I've been fasting, Ramadan has always on the vacation, so I don't really feel tired. But next year it's going to be during school time, so I don't know how it's going to be. So yeah, exactly. So certain countries have like less, they break off like like at 2 o'clock. Like in Saudi, I remember university finishing at 2 o'clock. But in London, it's just normal. People go to work, they go to school, and there's no special treatment. Like there's no like nothing changes. And that's actually Islamically, that's what we're encouraged to do, is just to pretend that it's like a normal day. There's no like difference between your normal day except for the fact that you're more generous and you're not eating food, but you have to go to work, you have to go to school, and so on. Let's go to the next question. Yes, exactly. Um, Obeida says, everything tastes better. We thank God for every single piece of food. It allows us to be aware of everything we have. This is so true. Let's go to the next question. So you guys, while like I'm reading the questions, if you have any questions regarding how to say things, let me know in the comments. Um, so Mojtaba says, do you think Ramadan is good for the body? Like in my opinion, I do think it's good for the body, just based on like scientific research saying that allowing your body time to cleanse itself, and without the constant need of digestion, it's a lot better for your health. So if you go and research it, you will find like so many health benefits for Ramadan, but I mean for fasting. But that's not why we do it. We don't do it for the benefit, but we do it because it's part of the 5 pillars of Islam. Is one of the things that we have to do as part of our religion. Hino says, how many hours? He forgot the hours. Do you fast in London? Again, it's 19 hours. um, HLS Tekken, I want to learn to speak about Ramadan bread. I don't know what you mean. Ramadan bread, if anybody knows in the comments, let me know. It is super long. So Ragat says that it's so long, like 19 hours is super, super long. It is definitely, I agree with you there. It is a long time to fast, but it's not a big deal, like I said, after the first initial days. So Amal Toby says, any difficulties that you have had in Ramadan? For me, it's mainly water. I've taught myself to keep drinking water, so it's become a habit. And during Ramadan, I'm not drinking water, so it's like I'm always like trying to reach for water, and then I realize that I'm actually fasting. So calm down, you can't drink water. What's the biggest challenge during Ramadan? This is a question from I can't kindly. What is the biggest challenge you face in Ramadan? It's probably time. So at the end of the day, like after we finish eating, we have to do the long prayers. And this is not mandatory. This is optional. So mandatory means you have to do it, like the fasting. Optional means you have the option to fast or not if you don't want to. So we do long prayers. They last about 1 hour long to do the full prayers. These are called night prayers. And this takes us around 1 hour to do. But like during the day, our normal prayers, we pray 5 times a day. So it takes us about 3 to 5 minutes to pray. So you can imagine the difference in during Ramadan when you have to pray you don't have to, sorry, when you decide that you want to pray for an hour. So it's quite difficult. Not because of the actual prayer, but because of the time. In London, it starts at 10:30. So by the time we finish and we come back home, it's at 12 o'clock. So that's super, super hard, especially if you have work the next day and you have to wake up for suhoor and you have to pray Fajr. So that's the most difficult thing is timing. So people that break their fast at 6 o'clock or at 6:30, it's a lot easier because you guys get all that time to pray, eat, clean the house, and prepare food and like for suhoor, and so you have lots of time. So for us, I would say time is probably the biggest challenge that I face. Like everybody has probably a different challenge than me, but like what would be your challenge? What kind of, like, let me know in the comments, like what do you find challenging during Ramadan? Okay guys, so I'm going to now, hi Hala, how are you? Ramadan Kareem. So I want to take your questions now about like the different things that about Ramadan, like vocabulary wise and so on. Questions that you have, let me know in the comments if you have any comments. I will go back to the questions that asked me about what I eat during Ramadan. Is we have like I maybe it's similar to the dish that was it Sarah or Surya said at the beginning. Let me put that on the screen. Yeah, it was Surya. He says that halim is a stew popular in the Middle East. So it's similar to this because it's got wheat inside it, and we have chicken inside it, and it's this heavy kind of soup that we have. Like we just drink it like soup. We don't really eat it with bread or anything. So this is something that we break our fast with. So we eat dates. Then let me just tell you about the day. Let me tell you about my day, like a typical Ramadan day that I would have. So let's start with the morning. I don't usually wake up for suhoor. I prefer sleep over suhoor. I prefer. Hi, Red English. Good to see you here. So I prefer I prefer sleeping instead of suhoor, which means when you break your fast during just before sunrise, we eat something called suhoor, which is like a breakfast just before we pray Fajr prayer. Fajr prayer is like a morning prayer. Before morning prayer, I have water. Sometimes I'll wake up for like 5 minutes before morning prayer. I'll drink some water, a lot of water. I'll pray and then I'll go back to sleep. Then I wake up and start my work. After work, you have the whole day where sometimes I will help my mom, which is amazing, guys. Before I used to live in my own house and I used to have to prepare iftar on my own. But now I have my mom that prepares the food. Sometimes I'll go down and I'll help her like just an hour before iftar time, and I will help her prepare the meal that we have. And she likes to kind of exaggerate with the meal, like have like different things like spring rolls, samosas, the soup that I was talking about earlier. And then we have the main, so that's just the starters, and then we have the main, rice and chicken usually, or different types of main meal dishes. And my dad, he's like, I've been trying to get them to eat healthier and it's been working, but my dad just looks so angry that he hasn't eaten proper food, he calls it. And after suhoor, we have to eat pretty quickly because we have to pray Maghrib, and during the day we also pray other prayers. But then after Maghrib, which is the part that we pray and eat and then go to the long prayers, which is like about an hour. So I'll come back home then at 12 o'clock, and at 12 o'clock we come back home, and usually we haven't finished cleaning, so we've done most of the cleaning, and we come back, do the cleaning, prepare a little bit for suhoor for people that are going to wake up in the house, and then I go to sleep around 1 or 2 o'clock. And then the cycle starts again, so it's pretty hard. Yes, so you guys have different kinds of pastries. Ragad says we have different types of pastries that we have. Yeah, so if you guys don't have any more questions, I actually have to now. Okay, 1 second. Okay, good. So that's the end of the lesson. I hope that you guys enjoyed this lesson and that you've learned something, even if it's one word or you've just had listening practice in terms of how to speak about Ramadan. I hope that you found this lesson beneficial, and I hope that you share this with your friends if you liked the video. And I'll see you next week with another awesome topic. All right? So I will see you next week. Bye.